League.
Yeah, Premier League teams with the hope of winning the Champions League. So too the Europa League, you would say, with Aston Villa and Nottingham Forest in there. Rangers are in front in their game against Robbie Keane's Ferencváros. They've still only got 1 point, but from Mido, a fellow Egyptian, earlier on. And he said, Mo feels that the club could have been more supportive during a poor run of form. But can a Premier League club, particularly a club that's trying to win the league and everything else, as Liverpool are, just keep picking him, as you said, to play him back into form?
I think when he's saying about that, every player's different, every human being's different. We will say things that we didn't really mean, or we say something. You know, he might be one of them players. I think if the manager pulls him and goes, you know what, I'm leaving you out today. I'm leaving you out. I don't think you're playing well. I'm going to leave you out. And I think you swallow that. But I think if it's one of them where you just turn up for a team meeting and the manager goes, right, so-and-so, and he names the team and you're not in it, I think he needs more respect than that. The way it seems to me is I don't think there's been a lot of dialogue, a lot of chatting between the players. And, certain games he's not getting on and players are getting on in front of him and, they're not better than him, and I just think, for me, as I've said before, he could be up here as the best you've ever seen and down here and you're watching going, oh, is that Mo Salah? But he produces. He still produces. I remember him the other week and they are struggling like mad and they're playing Aston Villa at home and they're struggling against the 37, 38 minutes and, they haven't won a game. All of a sudden, Martinez makes a mistake, gets the ball, he just taps it in like it was nothing. That was a big goal for Liverpool, big goal, and it was a big finish. It was a lot harder, that goal, than what people think. A lot of people would have panicked, took the touch, come inside. He was so cash, and I think people underestimate. Yeah, I'm on his side. You don't have to apologise to the players. In my opinion, you don't have to do that. He hasn't had a go at the players.
Just finally on Salah then, if it was to be the end, regardless of whether or not he plays against Brighton before he goes to AFCON, is Saudi the only option now? It's obviously an option because of the huge riches that are on offer to Salah and also his status in the Arab world as well. But we talked a lot already earlier on about his ego, whether he is the sort of player who thinks, actually, the money's not the most important thing. And you think of someone like Kevin De Bruyne, who's gone to go and play for Napoli, that somewhere in major leagues in Europe is where he wants to go if he's not going to stay at Liverpool.
That'll be up to him. He's got enough money. I don't think he'll have to work again. Surely he won't. If he does, he needs me as his financial advisor. Buy some shares.
Not trying to make buy some shares.
Yeah, that'll be up to him. He might be getting frustrated with himself, and that's why he might have come out and said what he said. He might have thought, I haven't hit them levels, and you do go. Otherwise, we'd all be playing still. We'd all love to play. The brain can play, but the legs just don't get the message anymore. And he might be a bit frustrated. It'll be up to him, because he can go and play. I've sat on this show a million times, on Soccer Saturday a million times. We've done VTs with players, and it's September and October, and they're going, I can't find a club. I can't get a club. You can get a club if you want to play for a certain amount of money. If you want to play for 30 and 40 grand a week, you're not going to get a club. It's how much you want to play. And I like it. He wants to play. The only team that, if he wants to live and get that kind of money, no one can give you more than Saudi Arabia. But surely he wants to play. And I think the only thing that he's gone mad on is he wants to play. He's 34 years of age. He wants to finish his career. You don't want to be finishing your career. I ended up playing at Walsall. I just wanted to play football. I played for Portsmouth. I just wanted to play football and I loved it. I had my best season ever. And that was at 34, 35. But I wanted to play every week. I didn't want to sit on the bench. I didn't want to be a bit part player. I wanted to play every week. And that's the buzz, playing in front of fans. And, maybe one day, I didn't not put the figures up Salah, but there's no bigger buzz than scoring a goal. And it'd be up to him. But surely you want to play in front of 40, 50,000 and not 27 people, surely.
And that was my Sunday League days, Merce playing in front of 27
but some Saudi Arabian games, there's not...
You spoke, Merce, about games that if you want to be successful, if you want to win a title, games like Brighton, Brentford, feel like 3 very well-earned points. Would you put Everton in that bracket as well at the moment?
Yeah, I would. I think Everton are a solid team. I know they had a bit of a hiccup and I thought they were rotten, but Newcastle played well that day. at the new stadium when they got well beat. But yeah, they're more of a threat this season. They're more of a team. They can get the ball up the pitch. It's not, you see what they kept 4 out of 5 clean sheets. They've kept them because they've got an attacking force now. Before it was sit 10 behind the ball, try and counter-attack. They take the game to teams now, and teams have got to worry about that free. Ndiaye, Dewsbury Hall and Jack Grealish, that's a good free. And Barry's just scored a goal. Now they're hoping that he can go on and score some more goals before the end of the season. But yeah, they've got 2 defenders that properly defend. They've got an unbelievable goalkeeper, 3 very good attacking midfield players, holding midfield players. Yeah, solid team. Good game against Chelsea this weekend, a hard game for Chelsea.
Is there any chance that they could squeeze into Europe? I mean, there are probably 7 or 8 teams who think, particularly if the Conference League goes down to sort of 7th or 8th place, that they might have a little bit of a sneak.
Consistency. Just got to stay consistent. The big advantage that Everton have got is that them 3 players that I talked about, Ndiaye, Jack Grealish and Dewsbury Hall, has been outstanding. Teams have a go at Everton. They can hurt you on the count. They can hurt you because they're very good attacking players. Just need the centre forward to keep on producing. I think the 2 centre forwards haven't really... They've worked hard this season, but working hard ain't going to get you anywhere. Do you know what I mean? You've got to have more than that in the Premier League. You can't just say, I'm going to have a centre forward who runs around. They've got to score goals, and you've got them 3 behind you. You should be scoring a lot more goals than what these 2 forwards have. So hopefully that'll kickstart Barry, a bit more confidence. But they won't be far off. They've got some good players.
So Everton eyeing Europe next season. As for this season, half-time in the 2 5:45 kickoffs in the Europa League.
Arteta says really special Arsenal star has been so good in training lately. Arsenal manager Mikel Arteta is a happy man after his side swept past Club Brugge in the Champions League, extending their 100% record in Europe. The Gunners have now secured maximum points from their opening 6 fixtures, establishing a 3-point cushion at the summit of the league phase standings. Goals from Noni Madueke, 2, and Gabriel Martinelli ensured Arsenal maintained their remarkable momentum in Europe's elite competition, having already beaten the likes of Bayern Munich and Atletico Madrid this season. Madueke opened the scoring with a spectacular 25-yard thunderbolt midway through the first half, with the England international then doubling his tally just 2 minutes after the restart. Martinelli added further gloss to the scoreline 11 minutes later, curling a delightful effort from the edge of the penalty area into the corner. The Brazilian winger has been in sensational form throughout the European campaign, becoming the first Arsenal player to find the net in 5 consecutive Champions League matches. Mikel Arteta fielded a makeshift defensive partnership of Christian Norgard and Piero Hincapié, with William Saliba, Gabriel Magalhaes, Jurrien Timber, and Christian Mosquera all unavailable through injury. Despite the enforced reshuffle at the back, Arsenal barely looked troubled defensively. David Raya registered his 5th clean sheet of the competition, with the Spanish goalkeeper proving instrumental throughout Arsenal's unbeaten European run. The victory represented a perfect response to Saturday's disappointing defeat against Aston Villa, which ended an 18-match unbeaten streak across all competitions. Arsenal looked sharp from the opening whistle and never allowed their Belgian opponents any genuine attacking rhythm. To make the evening that much better, Wednesday night marked an emotional return to the field for £265,000 per week striker Gabriel Jesus. Jesus made his first Arsenal appearance in 332 days after being sidelined for 11 months with an ACL injury, entering as a substitute and nearly capping his comeback with a goal. The Brazilian struck the crossbar late on after receiving a clever pass from Ethan Nwaneri, but Jesus was ultimately denied what would have been a fairy tale moment for him. Mikel Arteta praises special Gabriel Jesus and makes an Arsenal prediction. Speaking in a post-match press conference after Arsenal's routine win, Arteta reserved special praise for Jesus. The Spaniard predicts that he will have a crucial role to play in their quest to win a first league title in 22 years, claiming that Jesus brings something else to his Arsenal team and has a really special quality. It's been a very, very difficult and long journey for Gabby, Arteta began. For 11 months, he's been fighting against another very difficult injury, and to see him back with that smile, with that energy, and with that quality in his first performance back with us is really impressive, and we're all delighted for him. Arteta also suggests that Jesus has been seriously impressing in training. Yes, and especially if he continues to perform in the manner that he's doing and the energy that he's putting in training. I think he brings something else, and I was really happy to see that, and for him as well, for his confidence to grow, for his teammates to feel him as well, because some of them haven't played with him. So Gabby has a really special quality where he suddenly connects everybody around him, and that's something that we as a team need and will make us better. The 28-year-old was heavily linked with a return to Brazil, potentially in January, but Jesus himself has denied reports of a potential winter exit. The former Man City striker has confirmed that he wants to return to Palmeiras one day, though it makes no sense to leave N5 right now. My wish, as I always say, is to return to Palmeiras, and Palmeiras also want me to come back, Jesus told Revista Placar last month. After such a complex surgery, it makes no sense for me to leave the club now. It'll be interesting to see how Arteta fits Jesus into a side absolutely stock full of attacking talent, but Arteta is thrilled to have him back in contention.